Hello everybody. We're going to get started with the second live stream here and MJ sector review in just a minute or so. We'll give it a few seconds for people to jump on and join us. So welcome, and we'll get started here momentarily. Welcome everybody, welcome. We're going to get started here in just a minute or so. Just give it a few minutes for people to join us. Another chance to buy Vuzi, yeah. That's on the verge of a weekly downtrend at the moment. And if that were to occur, we'd be looking at monthly consolidation. I'd probably, like I said, probably wouldn't be interested in Vuzi until about $13.70, $14 area. $15 area. How was the road trip? Did you make it to Colorado for some CB? I wish. No, the road trip kind of got cut short here. We're in pretty much lockdown territory, so just in the western part of Canada, and we're getting hit pretty hard. Alberta is like the highest amount of cases right now at the moment, so decided I'd stay put, and you actually get a big fine if you're caught traveling. So we'll save that for another day or another week, another month. We'll see how everything goes once this craziness does end. All right, so let's get started with the MJ sector review. Today's review for the 4th of May. It's Tuesday. And we had quite the sell-off today in the market, but ultimately held support. So check out my broader market video from earlier today. I just posted, I did a live stream. It was a little bit longer today. I did answer a few questions toward the end as well. So lots to cover there today. And I did want to come on and do another live stream in case anybody did have any questions. Again, there was a lot of people that, for lack of a better word, were losing their marbles, so to speak, today. So I wanted to come on, just calm everybody's nerve a little bit. And like I said, come on and support you guys. So first, before we jump into the charts, there wasn't a whole lot of news to go over today. We do have earnings coming up. So here's a shout out to QC and our group for sharing this nice format here. Easy to see all the conference calls as well. So we've got the big ones here. We've got Kronos, Acreage, Cureleaf, Aleafia Health, Charlotte's Web, MedMen, Sundial, Green Thumb, Grow Generation, TrueLeaf, Supreme, Columbia Care, Verano, C21, TerraSen, and Cresco. So it's going to be a jam-packed month and going to see lots of momentum, in my opinion. I've just looking at the charts, I think things are ready to go again. And we know that we've been consolidating now on the monthly time frame for quite a while. And with the political landscape and all that changing in the US, it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before we start to see a weekly bounce, a significant weekly bounce nonetheless. So before we jump in, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. May the 4th be with you. Thank you, thank you. So we'll take a look. So SPY today, we tested support. We held key daily support. And just taking a look, we'll take a look at the lead Canadian bulls. We've been saying now for a while that HEXO and Zenabis have been standing out as the lead bulls. And just to give you some perspective, look at where Canopy growth, and there was an article there not too long recently I think it was Bank of America put out an article basically saying that they were bullish on canopy growth, which really meant they were short. And here we are losing 25.11. So from the low of April 21st, we had the low of 25.11. That's the most recent low after that huge explosion up towards the all-time high. And we had support there at 25.11. We did lose that today at 24.77. So we're now going back to the 21st of April. We're now losing that low. And let's just take a look at HEXO for comparison's sake. HEXO on April 21st, the low was 502. What did we say back in April? That HEXO was an absolute steal at $5. And I was loading up that was when we had that dilution news, if you recall. So we had a 1.2 billion base shelf prospectus, and that I said I was going to be buying the dip heavy, and I was, I wasn't worried at all. And knowing that they were going to be doing potential M&A and expansion into the U.S., another potential CPG partner, that is all going to require capital. Also, the HEXO and Zenabis shareholder vote will be on the 13th of May for the Zenabis shareholder vote. So I encourage you to go out and vote on that. That's going to be a week from Thursday. And we are winding down. The discount right now between HEXO and Zenabis is shrinking day by day. So I think we're down to about an 18% discount if you buy Zenabis now versus HEXO. So as we get closer to the actual merger, if you look at Aphria and Tilray the day before, I think it was Friday last week, the discount was essentially less than 1%, right? So it was exactly pretty much par. So I would expect the same thing to happen. So if you are interested in buying Zenabis at a discount, just keep in mind that it's not official yet. There's always the potential that the deal could fall through. But in my opinion, it's pretty much a shoe-in. So again, not financial advice, for entertainment purposes only. But if you are looking to potentially take advantage of that arbitrage opportunity, I would encourage you to do that soon, as that window is likely going to get smaller and smaller as time goes on and as that merger date nears. So HEXO from April 21st was up 38% and closed at the high of the day today. And nice dip buy here. So we were watching yesterday. We said that we'd be watching for potential daily consolidation. Why were we watching for potential daily consolidation? Because we knew that SPY was getting a little toppy and the tech sector was weak. And then if we looked at all of our other names, look at CGC for the last few days, it's been consolidating. ACB, consolidation on the daily time frame. Cron's been consolidating for the last couple of days. We have Tilray consolidating, a little bit of a sell the news reaction there. SNDL, same deal. So the more names, OGI, the CEO stepping down, so a little bit more weakness there as well. So the more names that are consolidating on the daily time frame. If you looked at HEXO yesterday and you said, oh, look, HEXO's clearly stronger than the rest of the pack, but you have to keep it in the back of your mind that if 90% of all the LPs are consolidating on the daily time frame, one would think that HEXO, doesn't mean that HEXO couldn't just keep going, but the most likely scenario, the probability was that we would see daily consolidation at some point in the near future. And what else did I say? Watch for the S&P 500 to give us some direction as well. Sure enough, what happened today? The S&P 500 saw significant daily consolidation, had a test of daily support. Again, check out my broader market video from earlier on some more details on the broader market and what to expect there. But I also mentioned yesterday on HEXO that we had a potential daily bull flag attempt if we did see daily consolidation. So just taking a look at this weekly time frame, we had this falling wedge that broke bullish. And then on the daily time frame here, I extrapolated this Fibonacci levels here for you. So you can see here we touched down perfectly off the 0.382 fib, held that possibility for a daily bull flag. So again, I mentioned yesterday, with the rest of the sector consolidating on the daily time frame, that increases the odds that HEXO is going to see it as well. Then if SPY consolidates, that's going to increase the odds that HEXO consolidates. And we saw both of those two things happen. And then today, we had that EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, which I mentioned yesterday. And also this white line here, which was the daily uptrend. We have yet to close a candle below it. We lost it today after holding the EMAs, but look where we closed, right back above that support line. And we knew that if we did pull back, we would be watching the EMAs, and now it's a possible daily bull flag. So if we take the measured move of that bull flag, that takes us to about $8. So we would just draw that out here. So you just take your measured move roughly up to about the $8 area. And also, now that we pulled back on the daily, we were also watching the strength of the dip buy, right? How aggressive were the bulls going to be on that dip buy? And sure enough, bulls bought that dip hard. I was extremely impressed with the 10% bounce from the low of the day. We went from a new low of the day to a high of the day. Meanwhile, SPY was still trending lower in a 5-minute downtrend, the S&P 500. So now we have a great scenario, right? We weren't set up well at all. So the S&P 500 and the broader market did what it did today back on the 21st, we would not have been set up well at all. Doesn't mean that we couldn't have went against the grain, right? But we were not set up well on the technicals whatsoever. So the fact that we bounced about 40% from the lows, that gave us a lot of room for a daily higher low. So now that SPY is seeing weakness, we have a lot of cushion and we are set up much better than we were on the 21st. So now it's a possibility of a daily trend change. So we knew that, the more we got extended, the more we ran, the more the likelihood of a potential pullback, and a significant pullback at that, right? So the fact that we're pulling back here now with a possible daily bull flag, with a possible daily trend change, if we break the highs here of 691, that confirms a daily bull flag, and it also confirms a daily uptrend, which will be the first time since the recent highs there at 1104, which is a 52-week high. And keep in mind that yes, we are a lot stronger than, say, the likes of CGC at the moment. We are clearly seeing HEXO as the lead bull in terms of, percentages off of the April lows and just overall strength in the technicals at the moment. But keep in mind, we're still a long ways away from, look how close, or look how far we are from all-time highs. We're like 400% away, right? 400% away. How far is CGC from its all-time highs? 133. 130, right? Around 130%. So HEXO, even though it's still outperforming in the short term versus its peers, we're still a long ways yet to go, about 4x away from its all-time highs. And if you look at AFRIA, we don't have the chart for it anymore, but AFRIA shot up to a new all-time high. And if that's what we're getting ready for, we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross here on the monthly, which would be the first time we're trying to close above it. So what I would like to see by the end of this month is for HEXO to close above EMA 26, which is that white line, and that level is at 717. So if we can close this month above 717, that is going to be extremely bullish. We've got earnings coming up on the 17th of June as per TradingView, and we know that they have shown consistent EBITDA improvement and EBITDA positive on the road to EPS positive. But seeing that daily EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well, and on this consolidation on the monthly, we held the EMA 12, which is extremely bullish in my opinion. So again, if we can close, we've yet to close over that EMA 26 on the monthly, but if we do, that's going to be the first time since all-time highs, and I have never been this bullish on HEXO as I am now. But I tuned into that meeting today, so that's one thing I forgot to mention as well. So HEXO had a conference today. So it was the participation in the Alliance Global Partners 2021 Spring Consumer MJ Conference. And there was a few other CEOs from other companies as well. So we had the interim CEO, I guess if you will, of Organogram. There was the CEO of Village Farms, Neptune Wellness, and I think there was one other one. But essentially, when the meeting started, the host, I can't remember his name at the moment, but the host was basically, he asked a question, and I can't remember what the question was at the moment, but basically said, who wants to go first? And Sebastian St. Louis was first with the word out of his mouth, first one to speak, first one to answer the question. And you can just tell he's been in the seat now for 8 years as the CEO, and his level of excitement and conviction and just overall confidence in himself and in the company and in the industry. It's bar none, right? It's second to none. And the favorite line of the entire thing was, he said something about this is what, LPs need to do or else they're going to be left in the dust. And then I think it was the CEO of Neptune was basically, everybody has different strategies, so different strokes for different folks. And then HEXO CEO Sebastian St. Louis basically said, well, maybe we'll compare financials sometime over a Molo. And you could see the twinkle in his eye. You could see the conviction and almost the pure arrogance and cockiness in his voice and in his eye. And like I said, it's almost as if he has that chip in his shoulder because he knows something that we don't. And they also mentioned on the call about the prospects for safe banking. And they said that it's looking really good and they believe that it's going to happen soon. Again, this isn't, me saying that. That's just what they said on the call. And again, this isn't financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only. But I was extremely entertained. And just anytime I can listen to Sebastian St. Louis talk, I am there with bells on because that guy, if you haven't read the book, him and Adam's book, the founders of HEXO, $1 billion startup, I encourage you to run, don't walk. Run, buy it, whatever you got to do, order it online, buy that, buy 2 copies, give one away because you're gonna want everybody to read this book. It's fantastic. It's pretty raw. It's got some language in it, but you'll appreciate it, especially for someone like me, middle-aged male. I can kind of relate a lot to what they were talking about. So for me, being a pioneer in the MJ space as well, I consider myself a pioneer in the space. I've been consuming it for many, many years, and I've done a lot of just promoting and just education with regards to the plant, and a lot of stigma, negative stigma, and I helped I consider myself a connoisseur or a pioneer as well in that industry, and I look up to Sebastian very, very highly in that regard. Reminds me a lot of myself, to be honest, and very, very ambitious man and smart, intellectually honest, and just understands the industry, the consumer. He understands the plant, the potential here that we really have and what it's really going to take to be a successful company. So got a little sidetracked there, but absolutely best comment of the goes out to Sebastian. Maybe we'll compare financials sometime over a Molo, but I couldn't help but I couldn't hold back the laughter at that point. I was just, bravo, well done. So got a little sidetracked there. So like I said, HEXO set up really, really well. Let's just look at the dip buy here from the low of the day today. I know a lot of people were probably losing their marbles, for lack of better words. Getting close down to that $6 mark. We were getting pretty extreme there on the RSI. We were down in the teens, in the 17s, and I bet you a lot of people probably sold today. Panic sold, seeing the SP 500 potentially losing the daily uptrend and testing support. But from that low, 10% bounce, and just look, I couldn't believe it, right? In about half an hour, we were up 5%, and then we came down, set a 5-minute higher low, which was to be expected, changed the 5-minute trend, and then from there, bulls ran with it all day, held the EMAs and held the 5-minute uptrend all day long. And just for comparison's sake, let's bring up the S&P 500 and see what happened there. So SPY, around that same time, it set a 5-minute lower high, but that's all it was. It was a 5-minute lower high. We tried the 5-minute higher low and higher high for the trend change, and then we failed at resistance, and then we resumed lower. We actually hit 2 new lows of the day, and then we had this bearish or the bullish RSI divergence where the RSI was trending higher with higher lows and higher highs, and the price was trending with lower lows and lower highs. So we had some bullish RSI divergence there, but HEXO bottomed out right around here at 1400 UTC, and we hit a lower high and then a new lower low, lower high, lower low. So hit 2 new lower lows on the day, and look at where HEXO was at 1400 UTC. hit its low of the day, from a low of the day straight into a high of the day, and then it was just all bulls. Closed near the high of the day, daily bull flag set up, potential for a daily trend change tomorrow. So the level that we'll be watching tomorrow, 691. If we get over 691, daily uptrends confirmed, the first time since this significant 50% pullback, over 50%. EMA 12 and 26 bull cross lining up perfectly for that daily trend change and daily bull flag. And again, target on that is $8. So in the bull and bear list, we had High Tide, CanTrust, Tilray. Tilray, again, still seeing that sell the news event after earnings. And like I said, HEXO and Zenabis led the bull list today. PCLO, Love's just been basically hanging around 15 cents. Another one we're really bullish on in our group. Notable mention there to Cron and Fire. OGI finished the day in the green too. I don't think many people saw that coming. But take a look at Zenabis here as well. So Zenabis could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We do have volume dropping off a little bit here, so that is notable. But again, the more we see HEXO run and the more time goes on, we're going to see this discount between the two start to shrink. But we have a lack of resistance now on Zenabis up to 15.5 cents. And we're holding EMA 12 here, but still haven't changed the daily trend yet on Zenabis. We did have a pullback of about a half a cent there, but not a massive pullback. So if we did pull back to around 10 cents from here, set a higher low and higher high, that would change the trend. So the more names that change their daily trends, the better. But HEXO looking good. And again, most of our other names, Cron, CGC, ACB, they closed near the high of the day as well. But their CGC lost the low of April 21st. ACB not close. So ACB is standing out a little bit stronger here as well. Aurora. Cron tested its low. We lost it by about 3 pennies, 7.57. So again, most names losing their low, hitting new lows. And we'll take a look at the HEXO weekly chart. So what I want to see by the end of this week is a close over 651. And we're right on track. We could see the MACD and stochastic cross bullish again as well. And I'll bring up the MSOS chart in just a second, the ETF that tracks all the big MSOs. There's some striking similarities between the HEXO chart and MSOS. And that's what's starting to make me believe. I also mentioned in my broader market video today that XLF, the financial sector, has been really strong as well at all-time highs and rotation at a tech into financials. And the MJ sector has been extremely correlated to the financial sector for the better part of the last year or so since this recovery in the economy. So what that's leading me to believe, if the financial sector is at an all-time high and closed at the high of the day, if Canadian MJ is showing some strength, it's closing at the high of the day in HEXO, which has some strong expansion plans into the US, if MSOS is in a daily uptrend and seeing massive strength as well, that leads me to believe that we could potentially see some Safe Banking Act progress, or maybe even some potential progress on the legalization in the US. Why do I think that? Well, again, if MSOS was weak and the financial sector was weak and HEXO was strong, I would say, okay, maybe we're going to get some news about HEXO's potential partner or a new CPG partner or a new deal or something like that. But the fact that MSOS, the financial sector, and HEXO are all running together is starting to just kind of, send a little signal. My MJ senses are tingling, so to speak, and just wondering if we could see some potential narrative regarding some progress in the safe banking or in US legalization and potentially change of landscape there. But taking a look at the 100 weekly moving average, so we have that at 721. So again, the daily bull flag target is going to be around $8 USD. But before that, we're going to be watching that 721 level, which has been rejecting the price since the lows here and the 52-week lows. So if we close the week above 721, that's going to be the first time we've done that since the all-time high. And that will be extremely notable. We also topped out at the 200 weekly moving average at 1139. So we'll be watching that level if we do get there here on this bounce. And we lost the 50-day moving average. We even dipped below the 100-day moving average, but here we are crossing back above both of them, confirming support off the 100-day moving average. And that's a save by the bulls. So let's take a look at MSOS. So MSOS, similar chart, right? Let's just compare those two side by side. So you have HEXO, MSOS. The charts look extremely similar. MSOS has yet to see its daily bull cross of the EMAs, EMA 12 and 26. So could be some indication that we could see further upside tomorrow. And nice lower wick there, finished with a hammer. And held EMAs. And here's our daily higher low. We had a mini one here. We pulled back by about, 11 cents. Not a big of enough pullback to be convinced that that was enough of a pivot point and a higher low. So now that we've pulled back, so from the low of yesterday at 43.10, we had a low of 41.29. Now that's a significant pullback. We saw a pullback of about 4%. That is enough of a pullback to consider that a higher low. And again, bulls bought that dip quite impressively, and the volume is there to back it up as well. And like I said, very similar charts. And we're going to attempt a daily trend change, and that could be in the cards tomorrow or sometime by the end of the week. So if we break the high here at 44.14, then that's going to confirm a daily uptrend. And then we'll be looking up to the next resistance level at 44.68, and then 49.20, 50 psychological. And then really after that, we have a lack of resistance up until the all-time highs at 55.91. But my biggest MJ holdings are HEXO and MSOS. And it's looking really good at the moment. So again, maybe we start to see a sector-wide rally. And again, the reason why I think HEXO is seeing the most benefit is because I think HEXO has the best strategy. They also mentioned on the call today that the Veryvel brand in Colorado is going extremely well. They're getting a ton of reorders. They're in grocery chains. And like I said, they're getting a lot of different reorders and a lot of positive feedback with the New York potentially coming online here in early 2022, forecasting about a $254 million tax revenue per year, I think it was. It's going to be another massively important state, and that's why I think we're seeing HEXO raise that $1.2 billion. That's why I think we're seeing some strength in the charts, is because there could be some movement on that. And again, just imagine, right? Once HEXO's reporting, all these earnings from all the different provinces, and then they have Colorado and New York and all the other states. Imagine all the 50 states, and then we have 50, and then we have plus the Europe, the EU, then we have Mexico, and like this is really just child's play at the moment. Like HEXO CEO Sebastian always says, wait until they turn the key, right? Wait until they turn on mass distribution and utilize these. And they're just selling CBD at the moment. Wait until they get into the THC side of it. So there's so much potential right now that it's not even funny. And if we take a look at the financials for HEXO, they've been gaining market share month after month after month, and they continue to post higher revenue. They're soon going to have Zenabis's revenue under their belt, and there's synergies there that are going to really help both companies. And they mentioned today on the call as well that there's just too many brands out there. They need to consolidate, and I think HEXO has some of the best branding and marketing out there. It's just fantastic. Can't wait. Super pumped for the future, to be honest, guys. So TAT, KBEV, and MMEN led the decline today. On the bull list, we had BioHarvest, Herb, and Bev. So let's just take a look at some of our other names. BAM, another one that we're really bullish on, potential daily trend change as well. So it lost the support level here at 54, low of 53, had a double bottom there at 48 cents. And we're getting above the EMAs. So again, I mentioned this in the group today for private members on a live stream. a lot of people are wondering, well, how come, we got above it here, but what's the difference if we get above the EMAs and close above it this time? Well, the difference this time is when we crossed it this time back here in the month of March, we got above it and closed above it, but we didn't have a convincing daily trend change. So here, the difference is here, we had a double bottom at 48, and we have MSOS trending, potentially changing the daily trend as well. And now we have a clear higher low. So if we break the low, the high here at 65 cents, that's going to be a daily uptrend confirmed. And then if we close above EMA 12 and 26 on the daily with a daily uptrend confirmed, that is going to be much more believable than just seeing a bounce straight off the lows into the highs, right? So you want to see a confirmed daily uptrend here as the best case scenario. And taking a look at CL, we've got some big earnings coming up. So again, CL, very similar. Could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. Maybe we're just seeing some strength now and positioning leading into the earnings reactions. So we could see, maybe we're going to see some blowout numbers, right? Like we usually do with the US. And they're just a very densely populated. I mean, they've got, tons more people than Canada, right? They got 300 million, we got 30. And very densely populated. So it's no wonder that they, you're not really comparing apples to apples. You're comparing apples to oranges. And, the argument is made all the time, well, Canadian LPs make no money. It's the MSOs. Well, if there was 300 million people in Canada and the population wasn't as spread out, do you think maybe that there'd be a little bit more revenue? Right? Obviously, that would be the case. So, you gotta look at it from an unbiased perspective, and just you gotta use common sense. So we did have a nice double bottom there off $14, and another thing to keep in mind too is that the LPs have a fairly head start in terms of international expansion as well. So Cura, daily bull flag potential. Cura is showing some notable strength. Expecting negative 0.01 on the EPS, but still haven't changed the daily trend yet on Curaleaf either. But we're looking good. We're seeing some strength here in USMJ. Just take a look at Trulieve. They got earnings coming up as well. So Trulieve, daily uptrend. With the low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Trying for another higher low. And again, yet to see those EMA 12 and 26 bull crosses just yet. But it's looking good. And I mean, keep in mind, right, we're in monthly consolidation mode. And you better believe that there's going to be a lot of people looking to buy the dip, right, with political landscape changes on the horizon and safe banking. You better believe that there's going to be a lot of people eager and just foaming at the mouth to buy those dips. So let's move on. Let's see if there's any questions so far. Thanks for your knowledge, Long Hexo. Appreciate your insight. You're very welcome, Danny. Yeah, this is my biggest holding, and honestly, I just added more to my position today. I'm 5 figures into the company, I think I'm close to 5,000 shares, something like that. I believe it was 5,000. But yeah, my biggest holding, my most confident holding, and like I said, it's one of the most confident. I haven't been this confident in a stock before. I mean, I could be wrong, right? But I don't believe so. I feel very confident that the future is extremely bright. And personally, I'm not even really interested in that many other names. Like, if it's like Warren Buffett said, if you could only invest in one company, which one would it be? And mine would probably be HEXO at the moment. For the Q&A later, you have tried Bake Sale. No, it's supposed to be coming to Western Canada some point in the next month or two. So that was another thing. I was going to share some coverage about that, but HEXO reached out to me directly, and they asked me not to because there were some copyright issues there, and they asked for me to refrain from sharing any of that. It was meant to be a business-to-business type of conference, so there wasn't they weren't too keen on sharing that out. So I understand, and that it is what it is. So I'll try not to give away too much, but essentially lots of great feedback so far. They did an unboxing. It looked pretty decent, and it's not meant to just be used for baking. One of the people on the call mentioned that he's been using it as his flour for smoke, right? So he said he's on his second bag, and the terpenes and nice dense big buds, so a lot of good feedback. Showed a picture of it, looked pretty decent, and it is a little bit lower in terms of potency, so it is, you don't feel bad grabbing when you're baking cookies or something like that, especially if you don't have a lot of experience. You don't want to buy like a big expensive bag and then rob 7 or 14 grams out of that to make a mistake or burn the cookies or something like that, right? So the whole idea around the bake sale is to offer, I think it's going to be around $99, but in Western Canada you can get an bag of the OS now, a hybrid, for $89. It was pretty insane, and that's regular price at Value Buds. So try not to get into prices and stuff like that too much, because the algo on YouTube doesn't like that. But YOLO, I guess, at this point. So yeah, but lots of good reviews, and I really like the idea. They're trying to capture a whole other segment, and again, they just constantly innovating and thinking of the consumer and putting themselves in and the people that were leading that, that were hosting that conference and business to business event. They're just very, very young and ambitious, and just you can see the confidence and how proud they are to be working for HEXO and to be even affiliated and have the relationship. So like I said, it's just I think it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we've really just scratched the surface with the industry. I also saw HEXO remove the Director of Food Technology position. What do you think about that CPG partnership being released soon? Yeah, well, I also saw there was somebody in our group shared out, I think it was QC, shout out to him, but I think there was Mars Wrigley basically put out a statement saying that they were tired of people like knocking off their brands and making a spin off some of their brands like Skittles and stuff like that, like making a little twist on it or something. I'd have to bring up the article, and I made a joke and I said, "Well, just partner with HEXO and let's be done with it." Right? Make it official, and that's some speculation. Like there's talks at Mars Wrigley, Hershey, Skittles and stuff like that. Could be potentially, maybe Hershey. There's who else is there? There's Nestle. They said it's going to be. They keep saying health and wellness and edibles and cosmetics. That's words mean things, right? And I've heard that now on the Ask Me Anything with Trent McDonald. I've heard it on the earnings report, and they mentioned it again today on that call. So that's 3 different times now in a couple of months that they've said cosmetics, health and wellness, and edibles. So I don't think it's going to be like a Coca-Cola, even though PepsiCo announced that they had hemp rock stars launching in Germany as a trial. So if PepsiCo is getting into it, maybe Coca-Cola is floating the idea as well. But I don't think that's going to be the near term, the near future partner. They keep saying it's outside. They said it's outside of the beverage. So think health and wellness and cosmetics and edibles. So I think it's either going to, and that makes sense too, right? Like why doesn't HEXO have edibles? Like why don't we have chocolate bars? And one thing they mentioned on that business to business conference was, we've got they have the OS Click, right? Which is the dab pen, which is a sweet product. They just did a price drop on that as well by like $20. But essentially there's a ton in there, right? And like 1,000 milligrams, and you can just take that. You can dab it, or you can put it on a paper and roll it into a J, or you can eat it. It's ingestible. So you can, why would HEXO even want a chocolate bar, right? You can literally go buy your favorite chocolate bar at the store, grab the OS Click, you can dab with it, you can roll it onto a paper, or you can just take a little, they mentioned taking a fruit roll up even and just folding over the fruit roll up and making a little gusher out of it, which I thought was pretty hilarious. But yeah, I mean, why go into all that R&D and all that, trouble and packaging? Like, you could just, anybody can buy anything, right? Even with the drops, it's they've got everything, right? Some people, like, one of the questions on there was, when are you coming out with a Molo 10? What do you mean? Like, just buy 2 Molo 5s or buy the drops. They're only $24. They'll last you like a month or two. 2 drops equals 1 milligram of THC. Why do you need a Molo 10? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Plus, it's meant to be like a beer replacement, right? So who wants to buy 1 Molo with 10 milligrams in it? Like, that to me just doesn't make any sense. And all the people that are running retail stores are saying that's what, like, the number one thing. But I would argue that that's the retail store's fault for not educating them. Like, okay, why do you want the 10 milligrams, sir or madam? Oh, well, I have a high tolerance. Oh, you have a high tolerance? Well, have you heard of the drops? You can add them to any beverage, your coffee, per 2 drops equals 1 milligram. So you can turn it into a 15 Molo if you want, right? Like, I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. Plus, their commitment is to make great tasting drinks that are refreshing, that taste good, and deliver a positive experience, right? So if you come out with a Molo 10, which is a crisp and light type of beverage, well, if you add another 5 milligrams, and it's not going to taste very good, right? Like, and you got to keep in mind too, right, that a lot of people who are consuming beverages may have never really consumed MJ before, right? So it's going to take some time. And they mentioned today on the call as well that HEXO CEO Sebastian said that he expects that we could potentially see 12 packs and 24 packs of the Molos in the next 12 to 24 months. So he thinks that those restrictions, remember too that Ontario is floating the idea this summer about allowing MJ drinks in events and venues and restaurants and things like that. Again, obviously with the recent events in the healthcare sector and crisis that we're going into here, it's the third wave. It might get delayed, but even if it's summer 2022, that's going to be huge, right? That's going to be a massive opportunity. And then if we get 12 packs and 24 packs, also spoke to a gentleman at the retail location, the manager, and he said that I think he said Health Canada is already revising the quantity, the equivalency in the beverages. So soon you'll be able to buy a lot more than just 6, because it makes no sense, right? You can buy 15 vape cartridges in one purchase at the store, but you can't buy 6 Molo 2.5s. Makes absolutely no sense, right? So they said that Health Canada is revising that. So there's a lot of positive changes coming down the pipeline, in my opinion. But again, you can just add those OS Click. You can add it onto any chocolate, right? And then you got the drops for any beverage. You got the leading beverages in the category, which are all fantastic. Like, I don't think there's one drink that they have that I didn't like. But yeah, I think very, very soon. Generally, when companies file a base shelf prospectus, it's to raise money quickly. And we just saw them pay down their debt, right, with CIBC and Scotiabank, I think it was, or Bank of Montreal. And that was like 29 million or something and change. And why are they paying that debt down, right? So why are they raising? Why is Sebastian St. Louis extra confident and cocky lately? I don't know. These are things that, they can't tell you legally by the, they'll get in trouble with the regulators, but you can start to look at their body language, right? Like when there was a conference that most of the CEOs were on, similar to today, back in March, I think it was, or February. And Sebastian St. Louis was on that, and Greg Engel, the CEO of Organigram. And they asked SSL, what are your outlook on this, or what are you most excited about? And he'd just be like, I'm so gung ho, this is this and that, like we got so much good stuff going on. And you could just hear it in his voice and see it in his face. And then Greg Engel comes on, he's like, yeah, like we're seeing lots of positivity, and he's not into it whatsoever, right? And then we find out yesterday that he's stepping down for unknown reasons. And so, yeah, like you can read body language, you can read the tone of their voice, and just the excitement in the company, and just you can tell, like anybody who's working at HEXO right now. Seeing tons of people commenting on my videos as well who work in like packaging, saying that they're pumping out Molo boxes and beverage boxes for HEXO like you wouldn't believe. So I'm super bullish, and I think that a partner could come very, very soon. What are your thoughts about HEXO FLVR trademark? Yeah, I shared that out on on one of my videos. Flavor. I don't know what to make of that, honestly. I can't even remember what exactly it said, but I know they registered a new trademark, Flavor, maybe something to do with edibles. So yeah, and then again, they've been hinting for a while now that it's edibles and cosmetics. So looking forward to it. Renee, hi, what a nice bounce we had today on HEXO. Yeah, 10% off the low of the day, and SPY, the S&P 500, was trending lower after the fact, and we still kept pushing and chugging along. So that's what we wanted to see, right? We were watching for how aggressive did the bulls buy the dip here on this daily bull flag potential, and it's looking good. Bulls bought the dip hard, closed at the high of the day. Daily trend change attempt in the works. So you know of any other LP that have the same kind of factory as HEXO? No, there's nobody. Like the bottling factory that they have is state of the art. Like they can pump out so many different beverages. I forget how many units it is, but it's like hundreds of thousands of units in like a crazy short amount of time. Just go to the HEXO website and just the main page, I think. Corporate presentation. There's the one where they're transforming, or just go to my YouTube channel and search HEXO, and it's Belleville facility. Watch that. Do you think they need the money to make another one of those factories in the USA? Yeah, it's entirely possible. They've already hinted to that in the Ask Me Anything there with Trent, so we could see that coming into play, absolutely. Your story about enthusiasm reminds me of when Zach, the CEO of SNDL, was on a conference call with HEXO, and Zach was asked about innovation and instead of talking about C19. Yep. 4,000 per minute. There you go. Thanks, Danny. Yeah, it's pretty insane, right? And a lot of people saying, analysts saying that beverages are only going to be 1% of the market. I do not believe that whatsoever. We saw, Molson Coors and Constellation Brands, British American Tobacco, all the liquor companies and alcohol companies and tobacco companies are getting a little scared, right? Because they're seeing market share leave and people are looking for healthier investments. Healthier alternatives. And I think in terms of just people looking to make the shift away from alcohol, actually has health benefits versus poison, and you don't have the hangovers the next day. You might feel a little groggy, but nothing even remotely close. And I think, just the amount of celebrations and holidays and, there's just so many different applications. Billions of different applications, right? Like in terms of the amount of beverage that would be sold, like we're talking billions and billions of beverages. Like, I consume a scary amount of MJ beverages in the run of a week, especially now that the price drops. Like they're getting really cheap too now, right? Wait until they roll it out all across Canada, US, and beyond, right? They're going to be even cheaper. I think HEXO is set to partner with a food confectionery company. HEXO flavor is going to power it. Yeah, that's a great observation, right? They've hinted now multiple times. And I'm pretty sure he said edibles before cosmetics today. Imagine if they released 2 new partners on the same day. Yeah, we're partnering with Nestle and L'Oreal. Something crazy. Estee Lauder, let's go. Oh, somebody even mentioned deodorant, hemp deodorant. That had some kind of technology in it that was like the same as regular deodorant that would give you that 24-hour protection. And there's just so many applications and formats and categories that we've still yet to even see. Like you got bath bombs and so many different options. All right, well, it was great hanging out. I got to get going. I have another appointment to run to, so it's been a slice. Seen a lot of people join the stream today, and gonna try and do a little bit more live streams here. Set up in an Airbnb for the next month or so. Kind of had to cut my trip short just to kind of give you guys a heads up there. Was going to do some touring around Canada, but Third Wave had something else to say about that, and you can actually get fined right now for non-essential travel. So not that I'm worried about the fine, but you gotta do what you can to help curb the spread, and not the most responsible thing to be doing at the moment. So gonna stay put in an Airbnb, and yeah, again, it's been fun, and make sure you take care of yourself, stay safe out there, and better days ahead for HEXO. And who knows, how long is it gonna be? Let me know in the comments. A week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? When are we gonna get this partner? I would say sometime before the end of the summer. That's going to be my guess. A big thank you to you as well. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow after market close. You bet. Thanks, Danny. Cheers, everyone. Talk to you soon.